In 1988, coming to America felt like a perfect comedy dream: royalty, romance, and endless laughter. 38 years later, their lives are far darker than the movie you remember. Eddie Murphy as Prince Akeem. Born on April 3, 1961, in Brooklyn, New York, Eddie Murphy was just 26 when Coming to America premiered in 1988, perfectly cast as Prince Akeem. In the years that followed, a string of critically panned films, including The Adventures of Pluto Nash and Norbit, accelerated his decline. By 2026, Eddie Murphy stands less as a ruler of the box office and more as a survivor of Hollywood's unforgiving cycle. His late career resurgence with Dolomite is My Name and Coming. America restored respect, if not dominance. Arsenio Hall as Semmi. Arsenio Hall was born on February 12, 1956, in Cleveland, Ohio. When Coming to America premiered in 1988, Hall was 32 years old, cast as Semmi. Hall wasn't just a comedian, he was a gatekeeper, reshaping late-night television and threatening an establishment that had rarely made room for voices like his. As the years passed, Hall largely vanished from mainstream entertainment. By 2026, Arsenio Hall is remembered less for how he fell than for how completely he disappeared. James Earl Jones as King Jaffe Joffer. James Earl Jones, born on January 17, 1931, in Arcaboutla, Mississippi. When Coming to America premiered in 1988, he was 57 years old, already a towering presence in American cinema, cast as King Jaffe Joffer. But behind that majestic image was a life shaped by pressure and loss. Jones battled a lifelong stutter, conquering it through discipline and performance, yet the very instrument that saved him, his voice, became a burden as expectations mounted. James Earl Jones died at his home in Pawling, New York, on September 9, 2024, at the age of 93, due to complications from diabetes. Shari Headley as Lisa McDowell. Shari Headley was born on July 15, 1964, in New York City. When Coming to America premiered in 1988, Headley was 23 years old, perfectly cast as Lisa McDowell. The combination of career stagnation and personal turmoil pushed Headley further into privacy. Now, in 2026, Shari Headley's return in Coming to America felt less like a comeback and more like a quiet reckoning with a past that never fully bloomed. John Amos as Cleo McDowell. John Amos, born on December 27, 1939, in Newark, New Jersey. When Coming to America premiered in 1988, Amos was 48 years old, cast as Cleo McDowell. Behind the scenes, Amos endured financial instability, legal disputes, and strained family relationships. John Amos died on August 21, 2024, at Centinela Hospital Medical Center in Inglewood, California, at the age of 84, from congestive heart failure. Madge Sinclair as Queen Aeolian. Madge Sinclair was born on April 28, 1938, in Kingston, Jamaica. When Coming to America premiered in 1988, Sinclair was 50 years old, cast as Queen Aeolian. Opportunities for mature black women remained narrow, and her talent was often confined to maternal or regal archetypes, no matter how deeply she inhabited them. Just 1 year after The Lion King was released, Madge Sinclair died on December 20, 1995. Louie Anderson as Maurice. Louie Anderson, born on March 24, 1953, in St. Paul, Minnesota. When Coming to America premiered in 1988, Anderson was 34 years old, appearing as Maurice. For years, he lived split between a public persona built on warmth and a private life ruled by fear and shame. Louie Anderson died on January 21st at the age of 68, from complications of cancer, just days after being diagnosed. Eric LaSalle as the Soul Glow heir. Eric LaSalle was born on July 23, 1962, in Hartford, Connecticut. When Coming to America premiered in 1988, LaSalle was 25 years old, appearing briefly as the arrogant Soul Glow heir. In the years that followed, LaSalle shifted his focus away from acting, channeling his energy into directing and producing. He became increasingly private, rarely making public appearances, and speaking only occasionally about the importance of safeguarding his health after decades of intense work in front of the camera. Now in 2026, at 63 years old, Eric LaSalle has firmly established himself behind the scenes. Samuel L. Jackson as the hold-up man. Samuel L. Jackson was born on December 21, 1948, in Washington, D.C. When Coming to America premiered in 1988, Jackson was 39 years old, appearing briefly as the hold-up man, a blink-and-you-miss-it role that few audiences remembered. Jackson became one of the most prolific and highest-grossing actors in film history, anchoring franchises, dominating blockbusters, and redefining what longevity looks like in Hollywood. Today, Samuel L. Jackson stands as one of the most successful actors of all time, a living contradiction to his beginnings in Coming to America. 38 years later, Coming to America is still a comedy classic, but the lives behind the laughter were far darker than the fairy tale on screen. Some rose, many fell, and several never escaped the cost of fame at all. Which story shocked you the most? Leave a comment and subscribe as we uncover the hidden truths behind Hollywood's brightest smiles.